Hey everybody, Jay Marino here. Got some more Direct Strike for you, and this is going to be a weird game. I decided to start recording just because it's going to be a weird one. As you may notice, a person on my team has left as well as a person on the other team, just because there was some really weird lobby issues with this one. So I figured, yeah, sure, let's record it and see what happens. Okay, so let's... I usually go Talus first. So we're 2v2, not 3v2. So that's why I figured, again, this will be an interesting one. We got Phoenix, and then my ally is Tychus, who sometimes can take some time to take off. He might take a little bit of time, which could be irritating. Again, we're gonna go Talus first, and then grab our Psionic Projection. I think that's a good start for Phoenix. Where are you going? Okay, so we have a Stukov. So we're going to want to probably get Kaldalis out for that as well. And I haven't seen what the other person is yet. So we have a Stukov, and then either an Abathur or a Kerrigan is probably what that is. And again, to reiterate, we are Phoenix. So Phoenix has his demi-heroes. Yeah, so it is a Kerrigan here. And we'll have to decide what this Kerrigan's going to do. If she's going Mutalisks, we're going to need to get Phoenix out very quickly. Talus also, not bad in that particular instance. And we'll grab her multi-bounce as well. This Stukov appears to be rushing to something. So usually when you know that the enemy is going to be rushing certain tech, we probably are going to need to rush to something as well. Which I don't particularly care to do. Now, our demi-heroes as Phoenix do benefit from more of the same units that are around them. So I think they get more HP. Is that true in this? No. Well, let's find out. No, okay, but their special ability typically is increased based on the number of units that they have around them. So against Kerrigan, we're probably going to face Mass Mutalisk, or we're going to face Ultralisks. That's typically the end game for Kerrigan. Maybe Broodlords, but probably, I would say either Ultralisks or... almost definitely either... Ultralisks or Mass Hydra sometimes. She hasn't built anything, which makes me think she's probably rushing to Ultralisks. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Teldarin pretty early, and I think that would be the right choice here. So let's just save up our money. I'll throw down my total losses just to show how much of a scrub I am. Boom! I mean, it's just reflective of how much you've played. You're going to lose a lot of stuff in this game eventually. Okay, so we've got bunkers here from Stukov, which is another reason why I think Teldarin is the right choice, and then probably Warbringer. Teldarin Warbringer will be excellent against Ultras as well, unless we see fast Broodlords, at which point we can shift over to Scouts. So we do have an answer to both of these commanders as Phoenix. It's just getting there. I return to serve. 375 for Teldarin. That's probably worth it rather than getting more Immortals. So unfortunately, my Tychus ally went fast Nakara. I don't recommend that. He might actually get her. Look at that. Nakara coming in hot. I don't recommend Nakara. I mean, it's just really expensive to put into perspective. What you need for each Tychus hero is 350. So, you know, one of those is on... one of those is now Nakara, who, yeah, will heal my stuff too, so I guess that makes sense. Is this guy, why is he messaging all chat and saying, hey, no, see, it is Ultralisks. I made the right choice. So we just need more Immortals, and we're going to spread them out so that they don't all get stunned at once. I think Kaldalis could be pretty good here, too, just because the AoE, but we need to focus on directly countering what the enemy is doing. I think Disruptors could be decent, too, if we start seeing some Hydralisks come out, but that's... I think Warbringer plus... Teldarin's going to be great here. So as you can see, it says 10% in green there. That'll increase with every extra Immortal that we get. I mean, we have to actually get the upgrade first, so let's do that. Gravimetric overload. Okay, so we're clumping up anyway. Very nice. And now I'm not going to be able to kill Kerrigan, so that's my current deficiency here, but that's all right because I think I killed my wave anyway. So yeah, it's not Broodlords, it's Ultralisks, and we'll see if maybe he shifts away from Ultralisks now that I'm making Immortals, at which point I'll have to shift over to Scouts, which is relatively cheap for me. And he may or may not know that. That's the thing. It depends on how much the enemy actually recognizes that he can't counter me with Ultralisks. And it looks like Stukov is making Diamondbacks, which Immortals also counter quite well. So I think, yeah, again, Immortals working great, and we're just going to make more of them. That'll continue to buff Taldarin up as well. I think we're looking good. Now, obviously, we want to get Phoenix onto the field. He's kind of pricey, but should do really well for us. I haven't seen any Overseers yet from the enemy. I see Lurkers there, which, again, I'm pretty sure I counter pretty handily with Taldarin and Immortals. Let's see. Yeah, plus 40% with the stored damage. Alright, so Talus running good interference for us. Let's throw down a scan here to kill this Lurker. Part of me wants to anticipate a tech switch from the enemy, but this is working so well. I'm going to get more Adepts, because, again, they're doing great to tank the front line for us. They're also cheaper than Caldalis and Legionnaires, so this is good. And the whole point here is we want to ensure that we can allow our ally to be able to get teched up as Tychus. Now, Tychus, I mean, it's going to be funny to say this as because it's direct strike, but Tychus in general is probably the hardest commander to play well in direct strike. Again, and it's funny to say that again, because it's direct strike. That's just sort of silly. But he's got a pretty high skill floor and ceiling. So again, I could get Phoenix now, or I could grab Warbringer, and I think I'm going to go Warbringer. Phoenix is good against clumped up units, but not necessary, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Tier 3. Actually, I'm going to gas, and then I'll go to Tier 3, only because we've owned the mid for a while here, and we probably will continue to own mid for a while here. Okay, my Observer's in here. I might need to move the Observer up, just because those Lurkers are going to tear me up until I can see them. So I am killing about a wave and a half worth, which is, again, it's giving my Tychus some breathing room. If we can take the first life off of the Torasks, that would be ideal. And again, he's going Kev Rattlesnake West. Unfortunately, they're focused on Kerrigan right now, which sucks, but that's all right. So again, I'm unfortunately compensating for my Tychus right now, but that's all right. I am taking a bit of a risk going to Tier 3 so that I can get Warbringer. Alternatively, I just get more Immortals, but I do need to be able to kill the Infested Terrans that pop out from here as well. So that's why I think it'll counter Kerrigan directly as well once we can get Warbringer out. So let's just save our money and pretty much go straight for it. And I don't necessarily need a bunch more Colossi. I just need Warbringer, and then I'll go back to Immortals. And we want to make sure we put it in the back. And it's 350 for Warbringer. Plus Extended Thermal Lance, which we're going to want. Okay, looks like lots of Lurkers. Again, Immortals counter that pretty much directly. He put some Infested Terrans in the front, but that's why I have the Adepts. And you can see, when left to my own devices, I just absolutely murder Stukov. But if there are leftover Ultralisks, then I'm going to struggle. So again, it's all about how much can we get done against this Kerrigan wave. And it's looking pretty good. So let's grab Warbringer. And I think he still would benefit from... Oh, no. Never mind. He gets the Thermal Lance anyway. So let's make sure we grab his Devastating Blast. And I think what I'll probably want to do is get more Colossi just to reduce the cooldown of that. But in the meantime, more Immortals are going to make this happen. I haven't seen a reason to make Scouts yet, especially against Diamondbacks. This is looking like a pretty good push here. Very nice. And then we got the Chronal Distortion, which should help a lot against... I don't know if that'll work against Ultralisks. Or not. My Observer, I think, just needs to get moved all the way to the front at this point. Hell yeah, I got a Trophy Rift. This is where we put total kills out just to scare him. We're actually close to winning right now. We're not going to win this round, but maybe one or two more. Obviously, the Immortals are working well, and we want to not clump them up on the middle. Though I probably will just make the whole line here eventually. Some people might get tempted to tech switch, but if what you're doing is working and you can't anticipate the enemy making a super effective counter against you in a cost-effective way, then you should just keep doing what you're doing. Some people are just tempted. They're like, I gotta tech up. I gotta do it. You don't. Like, same with, like, I don't need Phoenix right now, so I'm not going to get Phoenix. Just making more Immortals seems like the smart choice, and it also is buffing up Teldarin. I like Phoenix, though, because his play sort of encourages you to get a variety of unit types as opposed to spamming the same thing. I actually quite like Tychus as well. As long as my Adepts can clean out the groups of infested civilians and Marines, then all my Immortals are just going to absolutely roast this stuff, as you can see. And I might just get another line of them, though I think Teldarin is going to stop benefiting from more once we get 2 more. So let's get 2 more, and then I'm going to start making more Colossi. Disruptors could be okay. We might be able to have them trigger on the lurkers in the back. I don't know. I'm not going to gas, even though we've got a pretty good advantage right now. As long as we're holding the mid, I don't feel the need to really change much. I think it's time we start getting ground upgrades. And I still haven't seen any air units. If Kerrigan tech switched to Broodlords, that would counter me directly right now, but I don't think she can afford to because she's already committed a lot into these Torasks and Lurkers. Okay, they're starting to get me. And I think we'll just need another line of Immortals. And we probably want to move Warbringer back, and I'm just going to start getting more Colossi. So let's go to +3. Again, Phoenix... I don't know. I'm drinking water while I'm talking. I just don't take these direct strike videos like super strategically serious because, you know. The problem is also our Immortals are all going to clump up. If we have more stuff in the front, like more Adepts to distract, then that'll be even more effective at killing these Ultralisks. Kerrigan in there as well absorbs a ton of heat. And you can see that our Warbringer does get clumped up upon as well. But as you can see, like, now I'm going to have 2 clumped waves, and now he's making siege tanks. Banshees would have been the right answer, I think, from this Stukov. It's too late now, though. And that's GG. Very nice. So that was a short one. I might go ahead and show off another game. I wasn't even going to record this at first, but the fact that it was an odd 2v2 after we had one person drop out on the loading screen and then another person drop out right when we started the game made this quite interesting. I suspect that I did quite well. Yes, I blasted through this game with that amount of damage. Very nice. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Actually, no, I'll play another one just because this was a short match. Okay, here we are again. Looks like, yeah, no loading screen issues. All right, I am Abathur, and honestly, I think Abathur might be my weakest commander. I don't know. He just hasn't fully clicked with me yet on how to win. His Vipers are very strong, and for me, it's just really finding out the right time to tech into them, and I just haven't quite figured it out yet. I'll start with just a row of Roaches, just so that maybe I can take the mid against my first opponent, and then I'm going to tech straight into Tier 2, because that will allow me to start stacking Mutalisks if I so desire. It depends on who you're against. Mutalisk swarms as Kerrigan or Abathur just works so well, but it depends on who you're against. It looked like he had a... That was either an Abathur or a Zagara. I'm against Artanis, and I don't think Mutalisk spam could work just because of the amount of... storms that we might be up against. So I think for Artanis, we probably just want to stick with Roaches at first until we start seeing him making Immortals. I think that would be the right choice. I guess we just have to see what he's going to do. But yeah, I think just straight Roaches would make the most sense. I was just responding to a Discord message there for a moment. Again, I clearly am not 100% focused on... I'm clearly not 100% focused on direct strike. You don't have to be, that's the nice thing. You really have to be focused on when your wave is spawning. So what I don't really care for is how... Again, Artanis has a very good kit to deal with what I have. Immortals aren't really that cost efficient because I can't overwhelm them with roaches, but they're just so powerful. The fact that... Oh no, I was going to say he hasn't built anything. He has. He's built... okay, he's making Dragoons and Zealots. We should be pretty decent against that, and I'm going to grab the adaptive plating so that they get more armor at lower HP. Obviously, Mass Dragoon Immortal would counter roaches almost directly, but we will be able to kill those Honor Guard Zealots straight away. And the thing is, I could start stacking Mutas, but as soon as he makes like 2 Archons that can storm, that's it. So there's almost, in my opinion, no point in doing that. Okay, so we have an enemy Tychus. Oh dear. So we have an enemy Tychus versus our Stukov. And he's gone Fast Blaze, which is exactly what he needs to do. And then we have a friendly Tychus on our team and a Stukov. Leviathan Rush. No. That gets countered by Tempests very hard. I think that would just be a mistake, but we'll just have to keep an eye out on what else he's doing. Let's just keep getting a line of roaches for now. Not versus Tychus. Tychus is not my wave. I have to make sure. I have to focus on killing Zealot Dragoon first. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Oh, I think he's saying. I see. He's saying that the enemy may do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start throwing down some biomass on my roaches. I got a full line here, so let's go ahead and just start beefing them up a little bit. Again, my goal here is to kill Artanis as effectively as possible while assisting against Tychus. And that, yeah, and then he's got, okay, I guess Ravagers is okay against Tychus because, yeah, again, he stands still there for the most part, but I think this is okay. Yeah, let's beef him up to level 2 before I decide what I'm going to do. And this is what I mean, like, I'm not sure what to do right now as Abathur. I could tech quickly. I could just get a boatload more roaches. He's doing the right thing by just making a ton of Dragoons. Let's go ahead and mend him up. And right now I'm winning, so I don't feel a need... I don't feel a need right now to spend any money on more units. I don't have to. I'm outright beating him. So until I need... The thing is, Stukov does need my help. So I don't really need to add more units, and that's why I'd rather save my money, get upgrades, and then decide based on what the enemy is doing before I make a decision. Ravagers, I mean, Mass Roach would kill this wave, but... As you can see, this is actually pretty good. We're going to get their bunker really quickly. Wow. Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to take my gas. And let's throw down our defenses. One thing I thought about, too, minor strategy, is if you're the first... actually, not. It doesn't matter if you're the first or not, but during the first round of waves, the first 6 going, maybe don't put your defenses down at the cannon, because they're not necessary, and it'll reveal what you are to your opponent if they haven't figured it out yet. This is ridiculous. It's because their team is teching, without a doubt. And obviously, Tychus is going to absolutely clean me up unless I make Guardians. Again, I'm stockpiling money right now. I went 2 gases. We're pretty far ahead. I think I'm going to go ahead and risk tier 3 pretty early here. And I'll use my next biomass to beef 1 more roach up. I can get up to +3 very quickly, and then I can decide if I just need to mass roaches against Artanis or what. But it's really trying to figure out what this Artanis is going to do. We could force him to go Archons by making Mutas, but Archons hard counter too easily. That's the thing, when you're thinking about being more offensive rather than reactive, I prefer to be way more reactive in direct strike, just because what typically ends up happening is, see, he's got Immortals now, so we can just out-spam him until he makes Archons. You have to think about if what you're going to do, if you want to put the offensive pressure on, you have to figure out if you're going to force a hard counter or not. Again, I could mass Muta and clean this up pretty cost effectively until he makes a couple Archons, at which point it's like a direct hard counter. So if you want to be the offensive one, I guess you have to strategize. You have to strategize around what the enemy can do to counteract it after the first wave. Because you might surprise him in one wave, but it probably won't win the game outright, especially early on like this. So as Abathur against Artanis, I'm a little more reactive because it's not a very favorable matchup, only because no matter what I do, he can react and counter it. So he's making Immortals, but again, it's not very cost-effective against this amount of Roaches, which I can just build a shit ton of. So I'm going to finish this row, and then I'm going to transition into Guardians. And I think maybe some would just say this is just too many Roaches, and it is a lot of money. But we were very far ahead. I was able to get an extra gas. So just because it must look nice, I can finish up this row, and then we'll figure out where to go from there. Now, because this Tychus has been able to do what he's done, I'm going to go ahead and transition into Guardians after this. I could also get +3, but that's not going to help against Tychus, so I could also get a Leviathan. I could get a Leviathan after I start making Guardians as well, so unfortunately, Stukov is just at a huge disadvantage versus Tychus as well. Mass Marines is the right choice against Blaze. The problem is he's got a Nux and a Tychus, which can just clean that stuff out straight away as well. So I think for Stukov, it's going to be all about how well he can bait. He needs to be able to bait those abilities before the majority of his forces end up walking in. So we want to put these pretty far in the back, and I can get the +3 weapon range. So 1 isn't really going to be making a big difference here, but against Tychus, as long as the Roaches are still alive for a mild amount of time, they'll do great. As you can see, he's teched into Immortals, which means that we'll have, once our Guardians get in there, we'll be all good. Again, Immortals you'd think makes sense, but again, it's all about cost efficiency. And I baited out the Psionic Pulse from Nux, so every little bit that we can do to help out Stukov, this is making a big difference, and I don't think Blaze has that damage reduction ability yet. We cleaned up both waves, actually, with Mass Roach. So again, I think maybe this is a good showcase of basic cost efficiency. Even though Artanis has units that counter me, they don't cost efficiently counter me. And it's possible we're going to win in this wave. I think we're going to. Very nice. It all worked out. I didn't even need to tech further into Guardians. Donald Trump was defeated. What a dream. Okay, so let's see how we did. Not great. It looks like our... well, we did fine. It looks like our teammate, our Stukov teammate, actually did the best in terms of damage. Those bunkers were very, very good, I think, against his Tychus counter, just because the Tychus went Nux and didn't get any anti-armor, which he probably needed to finish up those bunkers. All right, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hope you're enjoying. Leave your feedback below. You know, hit the like button if you're interested in more Direct Strike. I don't know how many of these I'm going to make. It may become a semi-perpetual thing, or maybe I'm just going to make, 8 or 10 of them, and that'll be the end. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye now.